10 random magic cards rated. Day number 90, everybody. Starring a man with a painfully abscessed tooth. I've got an infection in my mouth right now. It's really painful, but the sleet, snow, hail, storms, and abscessed teeth will not keep me from this series. So I love you all very much. Check out the Patreon. I need it. We'll look first at Plains, which doesn't count. All basic lands get a 5. Happy Monday, by the way, everybody. Elder Leaf Mentor is our first real card of the day, originally printed in Kaldheim, which is funny because I don't remember this card at all. It's this 4 mana, 3 and a green for a 3/2 Elf Warrior. 4 mana, 3/2. When it ETBs, create a 1/1 green Elf Warrior creature token. Okay, so we're helping out the Warrior creature type. We're helping out the Elf creature type at the same time. But yeah, this is just a drafty card. I don't want to be too hard on it or anything. I guess it is an elf that makes 2 elves. Sometimes elves wants that, right? But I don't know. I feel like we see a card like this in every set nowadays. It's always some common draft thing. So I'm just going to give it a 3.1. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but you're not going to catch me playing a 4 mana 3/2. I'm pretty sure. Burning Tree, everybody. Burning Teeth. Emissary over here. Sorry, I'm in pain. Burning Tree Emissary is a green-red hybrid and also a green-red hybrid. So 2 mana for a 2/2 human shaman. When it ETBs, add green-red to your mana pool. This card is great. Should I? Right? I mean, we all know that. I don't really think this does that much work in Modern anymore. Maybe I'm wrong. Haven't checked Modern in a minute. Sorry. But this feels like one of those 8 years ago Modern cards. You know what I mean? Still doing work back then. And it was super feared, but I don't know. This is still a very good Magic card. I think just in a vacuum, obviously it's great. And Lady Pretty. So I think that counts for something. But nah, Emissary, I have to give this oh my God. A 7, right? I think this is probably a solid 7, which if you'll remember is a very good card. So I think a 7. It's worth the 7, but not too many more points. I could see a 7.3, but I'm not going to do it myself. You guys let me know how you feel about Emissary. Kind of a legendary card, right? But 7 is a good score, I promise. Rangers of Ithilion's up next. I have never once looked at this card. 4 mana, 2 and 2 blue for a 3/3 human ranger with vigilance. When it ETBs, gain control of up to 1 target creature with lesser power for as long as you control rangers. And then also the ring tempts you because they'll just throw that onto every card in Lord of the Rings, screw it up. So just on its face, a 4 mana 3/3 vigilance, gain control of a guy. Sower of Temptation style. But it's got more PT than Sower. I guess Sower flew. I think it has flying. This has vigilance. It's like a hill giant that is also a control magic. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good card. Cards like this are typically okay. Hostage Taker is not necessarily this, but they printed a few cards like this. It's not Agent of Treachery or anything, but Sower of Temptation was good, and this is probably most closely aligned with that. So I'm going to this guy's good, by the way. I'm going to give this a 6. I'll push all the way up to 6. You can find something to steal with this, guaranteed, dude. Stealing a creature is always good. Flatline is up next. This is from the Doctor Who set. I've never seen this card in my life. This is 3 mana, 2 and a blue for an instant. Creatures your opponents control have base power and toughness 0/1 till end of turn. Boy, that seems fun. The problem though is that it's not actually very good, is it? That's the So I guess it's a fog, so long as your opponent doesn't have +1/+1 counters on their guys. It's kind of a fog. You can block up and decimate their team. I guess you can also play this into an effect that deals 1 damage to everything, and then that's good. I guess it's fine. I guess this is fine, but you always have to combo with something else. I don't typically love effects like this, but it's cheap, it's instant speed. There's gotta be a billion tricks with it. So I'm actually gonna give it a 5.8. And I imagine there's going to be some people that would give it a higher score. This is my Ask the Audience of the day. This will be today's Ask the Audience. What do you think about Flatline? Do you think that it's dead on arrival as a magic card because Flatline? Or do you think there's some life left in it yet? I want to know, because typically I'm somewhat drawn to cards like this without actually liking them at all. It's a weird, right? It's weird to have both those thoughts, but still. Next is Marble Diamond. What do diamonds get? It was originally printed in Mirage. Diamonds used to be way better than they are now. I'll say that much, but you know, it's still a 2-mana rock, but that means it gets a 5. I feel like Marble Diamond, like all diamonds just get a solid 5, right? But they're probably actually more like a 5.5. They really are. These effects are just good. So sure, 5.4 for diamonds. Rafik of the Mini, cool guy here. Found a normal looking one, yes. 4 mana. It's originally printed in Shards of Alara. Let's just go to that one. So 1 and Bant colors, green, white, blue, for a 3/3 legendary human knight with Exalted. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains double strike till end of turn. You guys know about Rafik? You guys know a little something about Rafik? This was the Exalted commander for like a really, really long time. I'm not sure that it still is. I haven't seen Rafik played in a while, which is sad because like Exalted used to be a really popular commander deck, and it's just not. From what I can tell, it's just not anymore. But yeah, Rafik is actually disgusting, disturbingly very good. Turns out, actually, kind of. What do I give this? This is really, really tough, actually. Like, what do you give a guy that was a great commander 7 years ago? You know, a lot of 7 years ago cards like Burning Tree Emissary and stuff. I'm going to give Rafik, just for old time's sake, a 6.1. Sure, you can have that, and you deserve it. Every last ounce of it. You probably deserve slightly more with all the love that you brought, all the life and light that you brought into so many players' lives. It's like, this is a 4-mana 6/6. I just throw that out there. It's 4-mana 6/6. Actually, it's a 4-mana 8/8. So that's okay, right? To say the least. Single Combat is up next. This is from well, it says Fallout, but it's actually from War of the Spark. 5 mana, 3 and 2 white for a sorcery. Each player chooses a creature or planeswalker they controlled and sacks the rest. Players can't cast creature or planeswalker spells until the end of your next turn. I've always loved that about this card. You know, they're not just going to start filling the board like immediately. You know, like you're not going to tap out for this and then they get to like recover right then and there. You actually get an untap step before they start recovering. It's actually a really neat sweeper that never really saw too much play. This is sad because it's going to leave their best guy in play, and control decks don't typically want that, you know, but I've always thought this was cool, dude. I'm going to give it some unique points here and give it a 5.1. I especially think this last line of text is pretty nasty, you know, in some commander games. So I like it. I do. Human music. I like it. Hugu Kyrie's up next. This is a banger of a card, man. So 5 mana, 2 blue and a black for a 5/4 legendary Ogre Demon Dragon. Why don't you just combine all the coolest creature types? She flies, and when it enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. Then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. So you cast Brainstorm when this 5/4 flyer enters play. When Hugu Kyrie dies, exile the top card of your library. Target opponent loses life equal to its mana value. If it's an instant or sorcery card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. The card is just so jammed, man. You do see this pop up in Standard every now and again, and I actually think this would probably be a great commander, but you don't really ever see it there. But it would be so fun to play this in Commander, dude. It would be a lot of fun. All things considered, man, Hugu Kyrie is actually a very good Magic card. I mean, 5 mana, 5 power flyer. Okay, that's baseline. You know what I mean? It's not like it has 3 toughness either. Like, it doesn't die to bolt and stuff, so whatever. 4 is not the same as 5. I'm not saying that at all. This would die to, like, Overlord of the Boiler Bilges, where it wouldn't with 5 toughness. And we've remarked a bunch of times how, like, Shieldred has 5 toughness, and that extra point matters. So, yeah, it does matter, but we'll go back to 5 mana, 5 power flyer. That's baseline. Cast Brainstorm on ETB. Oh, my God. And then, like, this ridiculous death trigger. So, ETB trigger and a death trigger on your 5/4 flyer. That's just very good. That's very, very good. If it's anything like but a land, your opponent's gonna lose some life. And it's instant sorcery, maybe you cast free removal, and best case scenario, you cast like a 10 mana card, which this card often sets up to do anyway. So just gross. I'm gonna give this a 6.25, I think. Yeah, I think it deserves that, man. It's probably really like a 5.7, but I really like this card. Like a lot. Grim Giganotosaurus is up next. Giganotosaurus. Grim Giganotosaurus. This is 7 mana. They both both versions of the card look exactly like this, huh? 7 mana, 5 a black and a green for a 10/10 dino. You can pay, good lord, 12 mana, 10 a black and a green to Monstrosity 10. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each creature with power 4 or greater that your opponents control. When Gigantosaurus becomes monstrous, destroy all artifacts and creatures other than Grim Gigantosaurus. Okay. That's pretty okay, man. But it does cost 7 mana to get out in the first place. Has no actual keyword abilities, like Trample would be really, really good. So I don't love any of that. It costs 12 mana, but it probably really costs 8 mana or something. That's still like way too much. But it does say destroy all creatures other than this. And you get the artifacts too. So this is probably actually very good. What do you say, gang? What do you say, crew? Let's I feel like I have to see this one played. 6.6. Is that too much? Is that too much? Is it really just like a 7 mana 10/10 that does nothing? Is that what this actually is? Am I being tricked? Probably being tricked. Let's just give it a 6. Let's just throw a 6 on it. And look at our final card of the day here. This is Tajur Preserver, only ever printed in Rise of the Eldrazi. It is 3/25. This is 2 mana, 1 and a green for a 2/1 elf shaman. Spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to sacrifice permanents. It's kind of neat, I guess. There are a lot of spells and abilities that do that, I guess, that you have to worry about in Commander. So it's pretty cool. Like in your Elves deck, you might as well keep a copy of it, especially depending on your pod, right? I don't know. What do you give this? Oh my god. This is really tough because it's like super narrow, it's not even going to work most of the time. But like if it comes up against a deck that would cause you to sacrifice things, and like suddenly it's incredible. Like the best card in your deck. So I guess your opponent can just kill it though. Your opponent can just like go for the throat, cut down, fatal push, whatever, and then start making you sack stuff. That's called counterplay. I don't know. I think it's pretty good, man. As far as like hate cards go, like it hates on one very, very niche deck, but it does it to the best of its little heart, the best of his abilities. So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna give him like a straight 5. Just solid 5 for Tajur Preserver. In most situations, he's going to be like a 2. You know what I mean? But in situations where he's relevant, he's going to be like a 8. So split the difference. I guess that's a 5. I don't know. Anyway, that is all for Monday, everybody. I'm going to record another one of these. I was going to say I'm going to go be in pain, but I'm going to record at least 2 more of these so I can get some ways through the week before I have to do this again. Because this actually is just talking is actually very painful. So wish me luck that we make it through the entire week. We will. Rain, sleet, snow, hail, storms, teeth infection. We will be doing this series, but maybe I'll get increasingly more painful, and I'll get increasingly more painful and delirious and unable to do English as I move through the series this week. We'll see. But one way or the other, we are making it to 100, and then we're making it to 1,000. Damn it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Love you.